you ever noticed how yesterday's shopping staples seem to quietly disappear from store shelves? By 2026, your shopping cart will look dramatically different than it does today. A perfect storm of technological innovation, sustainability imperatives, and rapidly evolving consumer preferences is fundamentally transforming what we buy and how we shop.
Single-use plastic bags could be banned in New South Wales within the next 18 months, bringing our state into line with the rest of Australia.
From the gadgets we once couldn't live without to everyday essentials we take for granted, many familiar items are on the verge of extinction in retail spaces.
All right, so we're going to talk about the top 3 cleaning chemicals that I will use in a general office cleaning environment.
This isn't just about changing tastes. It represents a seismic shift in our relationship with consumption itself.
But there are actually hidden chemicals in many of those paper receipts that experts say pose risks to your health.
Let's explore the 20 everyday items that will likely vanish from shopping carts in just a few years and what this tells us about our collective future. Remember the excitement of browsing through aisles of CDs and DVDs. That experience is rapidly becoming nothing but nostalgia. Once the crown jewels of entertainment retail, physical media is disappearing at an astonishing rate. Major retailers like Best Buy have already dramatically reduced their physical media sections, with many stores eliminating them entirely. The culprit, streaming services, have fundamentally altered how we consume entertainment, with platforms like Spotify, Netflix, and Disney Plus offering unlimited content for monthly subscriptions. Owning physical copies seems increasingly unnecessary to most consumers. Even audiophiles who once insisted on CD quality have largely embraced high-definition streaming options. Traditional checkout registers. The familiar beep of traditional checkout registers will soon fade into retail history. What was once the universal endpoint of the shopping journey is being rapidly replaced by a diverse ecosystem of more efficient alternatives. Self-checkout kiosks, once a novelty, now dominate many retail environments, with some stores operating entirely without traditional cashiers. But even self-checkout is already looking outdated as scan-and-go technology gains momentum. Major retailers like Sam's Club and Walmart have invested heavily in apps that allow shoppers to scan items as they shop and pay directly through their smartphones, completely bypassing any checkout line. Single-use plastic bags. The ubiquitous paper or plastic question that once defined checkout experiences is rapidly becoming obsolete. Single-use plastic bags, once distributed by the billions, are vanishing from stores worldwide due to a powerful combination of environmental awareness, consumer pressure, and regulatory action. More than 100 countries have already implemented some form of restriction or outright ban on single-use plastic bags, with the list growing yearly. Even in regions without formal bans, major retailers are proactively eliminating them. Companies like Kroger, Walmart, and Target have committed to phasing out plastic bags entirely across their operations. The alternatives are increasingly diverse and sophisticated. Biodegradable bags made from cornstarch, algae, or even agricultural waste provide single-use options with dramatically reduced environmental impacts. Meanwhile, consumer habits have shifted remarkably, with reusable bag usage becoming normalized across demographic groups. Even discount retailers, traditionally the last holdouts for free plastic bags, are transitioning to charging for more sustainable alternatives or offering incentives for bringing reusables. Incandescent light bulbs. The iconic glow of traditional incandescent bulbs, a symbol of innovation since Thomas Edison's day, is rapidly fading from store shelves. This technology that literally illuminated the 20th century is disappearing due to its fundamental inefficiency, converting only about 10% of energy into light while wasting the rest as heat. Regulatory action has accelerated this transition globally. The European Union, United Kingdom, Canada, and many other nations have already banned the manufacture and import of standard incandescents. In the United States, the Energy Department finalized rules in 2022 that effectively phase out most incandescent bulbs by requiring minimum efficiency standards they cannot meet. LED alternatives have simultaneously undergone remarkable improvements while seeing dramatic price reductions. Early complaints about harsh light quality have been addressed with warm tone options, while lifetime cost advantages have become impossible to ignore. LEDs use roughly 75% less energy and last up to 25 times longer than incandescents. Paper receipts. The familiar ritual of receiving a paper receipt after purchase is rapidly becoming optional and soon may disappear entirely from many retail environments. This shift is driven by multiple factors converging at once: environmental concerns, cost considerations, and technological alternatives that offer superior functionality. The environmental impact of paper receipts is substantial. Producing them for US retailers alone consumes over 10 million trees and 250 million gallons of oil annually. They also typically contain BPA or BPS, chemicals that complicate recycling and raise health concerns. Retailers themselves have strong incentives to eliminate them, as digital alternatives reduce costs associated with paper printing equipment and maintenance. Digital receipt options now proliferate across retail ecosystems. Email receipts have become standard offerings, while retailer apps increasingly store purchase histories automatically. Apple and Google have integrated receipt management into their wallet applications, creating seamless systems that organize purchase records more effectively than shoeboxes ever could. Chemical-heavy cleaning products. The cleaning product aisle is undergoing a remarkable transformation as harsh chemical formulations that dominated for decades face rapid decline. This shift stems from growing consumer awareness about potential health impacts and environmental concerns, coupled with regulatory pressure targeting specific ingredients. Traditional cleaning products often contain volatile organic compounds, VOCs, that contribute to indoor air pollution, along with ingredients like phthalates, ammonia, and chlorine bleach that raise health questions. Consumer demand for safer alternatives has created massive market opportunities that both startups and established brands are racing to fulfill. Plant-based and naturally derived cleaning products have moved from niche health stores to mainstream retail prominence. Major retailers like Target and Walmart have dramatically expanded shelf space for eco-friendly options, while conventional brands like Clorox and Procter & Gamble have reformulated existing product lines and launched new ones to address these concerns. Traditional car keys. The humble car key, once a simple metal tool later enhanced with remote functions, is rapidly becoming obsolete in retail environments. This transformation reflects the automobile industry's broader shift toward digitization and connectivity, changing what consumers expect from vehicle access systems. Traditional metal keys began their decline decades ago with the introduction of key fobs and remote entry, but the current transition is more fundamental. Proximity keys that remain in pockets or purses while unlocking vehicles have become standard in new models across price points. Meanwhile, fully digital solutions accessed via smartphones are quickly gaining market share. Major automakers have invested heavily in digital key technology, with companies like Tesla, BMW, and Hyundai offering sophisticated systems that allow owners to grant temporary access to others, set user restrictions, and integrate with other smart home features. Apple's Car Key feature, integrated directly into iPhones and Apple Watches, represents a significant push towards standardization. Print newspapers and magazines. The magazine and newspaper racks that once dominated convenience stores, supermarkets, and bookshops are shrinking dramatically and may soon disappear entirely from many retail environments. This contraction represents the culmination of a digital transition that has fundamentally restructured how people consume news and periodical content. Print circulation numbers tell the story clearly. Weekday newspaper circulation has plummeted by over 40% in the last decade, while even previously resilient magazines have seen double-digit declines. This has created a downward spiral for retail availability. As fewer consumers purchase print editions, retailers allocate less prominent shelf space, further reducing visibility and sales. Major retailers have responded accordingly. Barnes & Noble has reduced magazine shelf space by roughly 30% since 2018, while many supermarkets now offer only a handful of best-selling titles rather than comprehensive selections. Convenience stores, once reliable newspaper outlets, increasingly use that space for higher-margin products as daily paper purchases become exceptional rather than routine. Film cameras and photo development kiosks. The film photography ecosystem that once occupied significant retail space in pharmacies, big box stores, and specialty shops has contracted dramatically and will likely become nearly invisible in mainstream retail by 2026. This transformation reflects the complete digitization of photography for the vast majority of consumers. Film camera sales peaked in the late 1990s at over 19 million units annually, but have since collapsed to a tiny fraction of that volume. Major manufacturers like Nikon have discontinued their last film camera models, while Kodak's bankruptcy and restructuring symbolize the industry's transformation. Even disposable cameras, once ubiquitous at events and tourist destinations, have become increasingly rare retail offerings. The photo development infrastructure has contracted accordingly. One-hour photo counters have disappeared from most retail environments, while self-service kiosks now primarily serve digital files rather than film processing. Drugstore chains like CVS and Walgreens have reduced or eliminated film processing services in many locations as demand has evaporated. Landline phones and accessories. The landline telephone department, once a staple in electronics and department stores, is rapidly shrinking toward retail extinction. This disappearance reflects the mobile revolution that has fundamentally changed how we communicate, rendering fixed-line telephones increasingly unnecessary for most consumers. The statistics tell a clear story. Landline subscription rates have declined precipitously, with less than 40% of American households still maintaining service, a number projected to fall below 20% by 2025. Young adults are particularly unlikely to install landlines, with fewer than 10% of households under age 35 subscribing to service. Retailers have responded predictably to this market contraction. Best Buy has reduced landline phone display space by over 70% in the past decade, while office supply chains like Staples now offer only a handful of models compared to dozens previously. Even accessory products like telephone cords, splitters, and answering machines have largely disappeared from mainstream retail environments. Standard AA and AAA batteries. The familiar battery display near checkout counters is poised for significant transformation as standard disposable AA and AAA batteries lose prominence in retail environments. This shift reflects changing device power needs and growing environmental consciousness among both consumers and manufacturers. Several forces are driving this transition. First, an increasing number of consumer electronics now feature built-in rechargeable batteries charged via USB, eliminating the need for replaceable cells. Everything from headphones to game controllers to small appliances has shifted to this more convenient paradigm. For devices that still use replaceable batteries, rechargeable options have improved dramatically in performance while decreasing in price. Modern NIMH rechargeables now hold charges longer, perform better in high-drain devices, and can be recharged hundreds of times, making their lifetime cost advantage compelling even to budget-conscious consumers. Environmental concerns have accelerated this transition, with consumers increasingly aware that disposable batteries contribute significantly to electronic waste. Retailers have responded by giving more prominent placement to rechargeable options, while some European markets have implemented fees on disposable batteries to encourage rechargeable adoption. Non-smart home devices. Basic, non-connected versions of home devices like thermostats, doorbells, light switches, and smoke detectors are rapidly disappearing from retail shelves as smart alternatives become mainstream options rather than premium upgrades. This transition reflects the broader integration of homes into the Internet of Things ecosystem. The smart home market has expanded far beyond early adopters and tech enthusiasts, with connected device shipments growing at double-digit rates annually. Price points have dropped dramatically. Smart thermostats that once cost $250 now have versions available under $100, while basic smart light bulbs can be found for as little as $10, approaching parity with quality non-connected alternatives. Major home improvement retailers have responded accordingly. Home Depot and Lowe's have dramatically expanded smart home sections while reducing shelf space for non-connected equivalents. Even mass-market retailers like Walmart and Target now prominently feature smart devices in home sections, reflecting their mainstream acceptance. Traditional gasoline cans. The familiar red plastic gasoline can, once a standard item in hardware stores and auto departments, is undergoing significant transformation and may largely disappear from retail shelves by 2026. This shift stems from several converging factors affecting both demand and design requirements. On the demand side, the accelerating transition toward electric vehicles is beginning to reduce consumer need for gasoline storage containers. With EV sales growing at over 40% annually in major markets and most major manufacturers committing to predominantly electric lineups by 2030, the consumer base for gas cans is contracting among vehicle owners. Meanwhile, regulatory changes have dramatically altered gas can design requirements. The EPA's CARB-compliant specifications, which mandate complex spill prevention mechanisms, have transformed the familiar simple can with a spout into more complicated devices with multiple safety features. These regulations, while addressing legitimate safety concerns, have made traditional designs illegal to sell. For remaining internal combustion applications like lawnmowers and generators, alternatives are gaining market share. Electric options for lawn equipment have improved dramatically in performance while decreasing in price, while fuel stabilizer products have reduced the need for separate gas storage for occasional use equipment. Paper maps and travel guides. The paper maps and travel guides that once occupied prominent positions in bookstores, convenience stores, and travel shops are rapidly disappearing from retail environments. This shift reflects the comprehensive digitization of navigation and travel information through smartphones and connected vehicles. Paper roadmap sales have declined by over 80% in the past decade as GPS navigation has become ubiquitous in both dedicated devices and smartphones. Major map publishers like Rand McNally have shifted their business models toward digital products, while gas stations and convenience stores that once prominently displayed local and regional maps now rarely stock them at all. Traditional travel guidebooks have experienced a similar trajectory. Publications like Lonely Planet and Fodor's have seen print sales decline dramatically as travelers increasingly rely on constantly updated digital resources. The advantages are compelling. Digital guides offer real-time information on business hours, prices, and reviews, along with interactive maps and instant translation features impossible in print formats. Plastic straws and cutlery. Single-use plastic straws and cutlery, once standard offerings in supermarkets and convenience stores, are rapidly disappearing from retail environments as environmental concerns and regulatory actions transform the disposable dining landscape. This shift represents one of the most visible manifestations of changing attitudes towards single-use plastics. The anti-plastic straw movement gained remarkable momentum beginning around 2018, transforming from environmental activism to mainstream consumer concern with unprecedented speed. Major corporations from Starbucks to Disney announced phase-out plans, while cities including Seattle, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco implemented outright bans. Similar momentum has built against plastic cutlery, with the European Union banning single-use plastic forks, knives, and spoons entirely in 2021. Major retailers including Target and Walmart have committed to reducing single-use plastics across their operations and product offerings, including their disposable dining selections. Alternative materials have evolved rapidly to fill market gaps. Paper straws, while initially criticized for performance issues, have improved substantially in durability. Meanwhile, plant-based cutlery made from materials like cornstarch, bamboo, and avocado seeds offers biodegradable alternatives with increasingly comparable functionality to plastic versions. Non-sustainable packaging. Excessive non-recyclable and single-material packaging is rapidly disappearing from retail shelves as sustainability becomes a core consideration rather than a marketing bonus. This transformation spans virtually all product categories and represents one of the most significant visible changes in retail environments by 2026. Consumer expectations have shifted dramatically, with multiple surveys showing over 70% of shoppers considering packaging sustainability in purchasing decisions. Major retailers have responded with comprehensive commitments. Walmart's Project Gigaton aims to remove 1 billion metric tons of emissions from their supply chain, with packaging reduction as a central component. The changes are appearing across product categories. Frustration-free packaging pioneered by Amazon has influenced physical retail, eliminating plastic clamshells in favor of easily opened and recycled alternatives. Concentrated cleaning products have reduced bottle sizes by up to 80%, while refill systems for everything from hand soap to laundry detergent are becoming mainstream options. Biodegradable and compostable materials derived from agricultural waste, mushroom roots, seaweed, and other renewable sources are replacing traditional plastics and foams in protective packaging. Meanwhile, major brands from Coca-Cola to Nestlé have committed to making all packaging recyclable or reusable by 2025. Regular incandescent holiday lights. Traditional incandescent holiday string lights, once a seasonal staple in retail environments from hardware stores to supermarkets, are rapidly disappearing from shelves. This shift represents the intersection of energy efficiency trends with holiday decorating traditions, fundamentally changing a product category purchased by millions of households annually. The energy efficiency advantages of LED alternatives are compelling. They consume up to 80% less electricity than incandescent versions while lasting up to 25 times longer. For outdoor displays in particular, this can translate to significant cost savings over just a few seasons of use. Safety advantages are equally important, as LED lights generate virtually no heat, substantially reducing fire risk associated with holiday decorating. Major retailers have responded decisively to these advantages. Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, and Walmart have all dramatically reduced shelf space for traditional incandescent holiday lights, with some eliminating them entirely. Many have implemented merchandising that explicitly highlights the cost savings and safety advantages of LED alternatives. The performance gap that initially slowed adoption has largely disappeared. Early LED holiday lights were criticized for harsh blue-white color tones and limited brightness, but contemporary versions offer warm color options indistinguishable from incandescent traditions. Additionally, solar-powered options for outdoor displays have gained significant market share, eliminating electricity costs entirely. Large desktop computer towers. The bulky desktop computer tower, once a centerpiece of electronics departments and office supply stores, is rapidly disappearing from mainstream retail environments. This shift reflects fundamental changes in computing habits, with consequences for both the products retailers stock and the space they allocate to computer hardware. Several trends are driving this transformation. First, the performance gap between laptops and desktops has narrowed dramatically for most consumer use cases. Improvements in mobile processors and graphics capabilities mean that portable options can handle everything from video editing to gaming without significant compromises for most users. Additionally, all-in-one designs that integrate computing components directly into monitors have captured significant market share, appealing to consumers who value both aesthetics and simplicity. Meanwhile, ultra-compact form factors like Mac Mini and Intel NUC have demonstrated that powerful computing doesn't require traditional tower dimensions. Retailers have responded accordingly to these shifting preferences. Best Buy has reduced floor space dedicated to traditional desktop towers by over 60% since 2015, while office supply chains have similarly contracted their desktop offerings. Even gaming-focused retailers, once bastions of tower displays, now prominently feature gaming laptops and compact designs. Standard remote controls. The standalone remote control, once packaged with virtually every electronic entertainment device, is rapidly evolving toward extinction in retail environments. This transformation reflects both technological convergence and fundamental changes in how consumers interact with their devices. Several forces are driving this shift. Smartphone control apps have become standard offerings for everything from televisions to sound systems to streaming devices, eliminating the need for dedicated hardware remotes. Meanwhile, voice control through systems like Alexa, Google Assistant, and Siri has created entirely hands-free alternatives for many common functions. The consolidation of entertainment through streaming services has simultaneously reduced device complexity. As consumers rely more on streaming boxes and smart TVs rather than separate DVD players, cable boxes, and audio receivers, the need for multiple remotes has diminished. Universal remote control products, once a thriving retail category, have contracted accordingly. Smart home integration represents the final evolutionary step, with entertainment control becoming just one facet of comprehensive home automation systems. Dedicated control panels and ecosystem-specific remotes have replaced the traditional paradigm of device-specific controllers. Traditional alarm clocks. The standalone alarm clock, once a bedside necessity found in housewares departments and electronics stores, is rapidly disappearing from retail shelves. This decline reflects how smartphones have absorbed yet another single-purpose device while changing our relationship with time itself. These statistics tell a clear story. Dedicated alarm clock sales have declined by over 60% in the past decade as smartphone adoption has approached saturation levels. For most consumers, particularly those under 40, the idea of purchasing a separate device solely for morning wake-up seems increasingly unnecessary when their phones offer superior functionality. Smartphones provide clear advantages as alarm devices. They offer multiple customizable alarms, gradual wake-up options, and integration with sleep tracking functionality. Meanwhile, smart home systems have extended these capabilities with devices like Amazon Echo and Google Nest Hub offering voice-controlled alarms with expanded features. Retailers have responded predictably to this market contraction. Target has reduced dedicated alarm clock offerings by over 70% in the past 5 years, while electronics retailers have largely relegated them to small sections rather than featured displays. The remaining market consists primarily of specialized needs, hotels purchasing in bulk, seniors preferring simplified interfaces, and decorative models serving dual purposes.